Hi, Debbie Elder with Shady Oak Primary School. Welcome back. Today is day 10 of our How to Select a School for Your Child series. And this discussion is going to be about communication. Communication is incredibly important. To be able to communicate your thoughts and ideas and opinions, both written and orally, is a skill that every child deserves to have. Unfortunately, it's not one that's taught on every campus. So written skills, of course, are taught. We at our school use Andrew Pudawa's the Institute of Writing Excellence. His curriculum is phenomenal. It teaches students the art of editing. It gives them templates that they can use. It allows them to have dress-ups and a checklist that they can go back before they hand in their work and make sure they've done enough work to make their writing interesting. That's right. So we do things like change the sentence openers. What is very common, especially with young students, is that they start each sentence with the subject, right? The dog and the boy went to the park. The boy threw the stick for the dog. The dog ran, you get the idea. But what if you had to vary the sentence openers? What if you had been charged with the opportunity to start with the subject and then the next sentence starts with a verb? And then you start with an ly word or an ing word or a preposition or a clause. All of that makes for very interesting writing. So we do our first draft, and then they go back and they use the checklist to edit it. We also vary the sentence lengths. They, of course, are mindful of their capitalization and their punctuation. But this writing format really frees them to get down to what they want to say and then be able to go back and say it in a way that is very interesting to their audience. We also teach speech class here. And I think that that is one of, well, I really enjoy that class. It's a class that I teach. And having been a professional speaker now for almost 17 years, it is something that is really true and dear to my heart. And I just love it. And I read a long time ago a Reader's Digest article speaking about a man who was so excited because he had just gotten the opportunity to take some clients fishing up in Alaska. And he's telling his wife the story, and his wife's like, "Oh my gosh, I've been married to you for 16 years. You've never even owned a fishing pole. I'm afraid you're going to make a fool of yourself." And he's like, "Oh no, my Uncle Tom taught me how to fish when I was 9. If I can do it at 9, I can do it now." And I went, wow, what a great perspective on life. And so my whole philosophy since then has been teach it to them when they're young, and they will incorporate that habit and move it forward. So here, starting in 3rd grade, we teach speech, and it very much is similar to a Toastmasters class where we have a Toastmaster or a chairperson that runs the meeting. So not only are they learning how to speak, they're also learning how a meeting is run. Then we have someone who comes up with 5 questions based on the theme of the meeting. And those questions are meant to give students an opportunity to think on their feet. Question is read, and they're taught how to write open-ended questions. And then the student reads the question and then selects someone in the audience to come forward to the podium and respond to that question. They must speak for 1 to 2 minutes. We also have a grammarian who's at the back of the room with a bell. And if you say, use like incorrectly, like, you know what I mean, like, you're dinged for that. And those are added up and you get a report at the end of the meeting. We also have a timer who makes sure that you're speaking for the 1 to 2 minutes or 4 to 5 minutes if you're giving a speech. And then we have a general evaluator whose job is to evaluate the entire meeting. We have a balloteer because we vote on best speaker, best table topics, and best evaluator. We have speakers who get up and give their speeches. We have 10 different speeches that they give, everything from their icebreaker, that is an introduction about themselves, to an inspirational speech. Maybe one of the speeches talks about using props correctly, increasing vocal variety, using different words and really stretching the vocabulary. So it's a great opportunity for them to sort of work through some different areas and then to be evaluated on how well they've worked through those areas, in addition to their ability to project their voice, to have proper eye contact, to be entertaining, to feel comfortable. The students are also given instruction on how to give a correct evaluation. What they don't like, and imagine yourself, you've worked 2 to 3 weeks on a speech, you give your speech, the evaluator stands up and says, "Yeah, that was really great." You're like, "What? That's all you got for me?" What we encourage our students to do is pay attention, even if you're not the evaluator, so you can really measure the growth of a student. So maybe when it's your turn to evaluate, you can refer back to a speech they gave a couple of weeks ago where you noticed their eye contact really needed to be improved, and they did it. in this speech today, they improved their eye contact. And then you want to give them a growth factor, something that they can work on. Maybe it's getting a little bit more comfortable with coming out from around the podium. Maybe it's increasing eye contact if that's not something they've mastered already. Maybe it's projecting their voice. Maybe it's not reading the paper, but looking up a little bit more. There's so many ways that you can benefit a speaker as an evaluator by really paying attention and sort of marking their growth patterns. We also at our school teach body language so that our students can understand that form of communication. So when you look at the way we communicate as humans, only 7% is words. 38% is tone of voice, 55% is body language. So we teach our students how to read body language and how to ensure that what they're thinking and feeling matches what they're doing. So just a few things for you to look at when you're checking out your student's school. I think this is important stuff, and I think it really helps our students to reach their full potential, which I know every parent wants. I'll see you tomorrow.